Hello once again. Welcome to the Athletics and Wellness Center on the campus of Earlham College for Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference basketball this afternoon. The Earlham Quakers will look for their second straight win after beating Defiance on Wednesday, 69-56, snapping a three-game losing streak. The Quakers at 3-11 overall, 1-6 now in the HCAC. Mount St. Joe, a big win over Hanover on Wednesday. They won that one 67-63. They've now won three out of their last 5 games. Mount St. Joe coming in at 4-10 overall and 3-4 in conference play. We'll talk more about the Lions coming up in just a few moments. Sports Information Director Mitch Blancasport, kind enough to be with us here in the pregame. And hey, Quakers played well in their win the other night against Defiance. They rebounded well. I know they didn't shoot quite as well as they had hoped, but you end up with 25 offensive rebounds, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, definitely, Troy. Probably, for sure, the best defensive performance from Earlham thus far this year with that victory over Defiance. I think it was pretty key for the team's morale. I know you've been doing your weekly show with Coach Iden, and she's been saying that, close but not quite there yet. With several of these close losses, I think your numbers maybe have 8 or 9 losses that have been single digits, that kind of thing. So nice for the team's confidence to finally play well and get a win. And this Mount St. Joe team here coming off a victory at Hanover is going to be a pretty big test here for Earlham this afternoon.
One thing that Coach Iden said is that what she was impressed about Mount St. Joe, even without the Phillips girl in their lineup, they play very, very hard, and you're going to expect that again here today.
Yes, and it's a good thing with the Phillips, Sierra Phillips, one of the better players in the conference. As a freshman, that would have been a big deal for Earlham to handle down low. Yeah. But, they handled Tichy pretty well, so you never know. But pretty impressive for Mount St. Joseph, a team that had a pretty rough year last year. I know the whole Lauren Hill situation, if you remember her, she was a player on Mount St. Joe's team last year, tragically passed away from a rare form of brain cancer. So they didn't have maybe the best year wins and losses-wise last year for a multitude of very good reasons, but a huge win for them at Hanover without probably their best player. Really surprising, honestly, to me, but you got to tip your cap sometimes.
Mount St. Joe, they struggle in a few areas. One of them is scoring, another one is shooting, and that is another aspect that the Quakers hopefully will take advantage of today. And another thing is they almost turn the ball over, I think, 20 times per game, so we'll perhaps see the Quakers press a little bit more today.
Yeah, and I would definitely expect to see that, Troy. I would also expect Mount St. Joseph to try to press Earlham a little bit. Earlham struggled with a multitude of turnovers, have had 2 games over 40 turnovers this year, but one thing I'd like to give Earlham a little credit, in the past 2 games you saw Hanover and Defiance both try to press the Quakers, and Earlham did have some turnovers, but not many of them came from that full court press.
Right.
So the last 2 games have been pretty good for Earlham breaking the press, but I expect Mount St. Joe to do some of that here this afternoon.
And the one thing Quakers don't want to do today is have a letdown from the other day, because that, again, was a very big win, snapping that losing streak, getting their first conference win, so no emotional letdown for today.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. If this is a big game if Earlham wants to make a push to make the conference tournament. As I talked earlier with you off the air, I think usually around 9-9, even 8-10 can be in that 4, 5, 6, 7 range right there. And this is a big win. I would almost argue a must-win game if Earlham wants to make the conference tournament this season.
All right, Mitch, good to see you again.
Thank you, Troy. Have a great broadcast.
Right, keep an eye on the live stats as well throughout the entire afternoon. We have a men's and women's doubleheader here for today. We'll follow this one up with a men's contest at around 3:30 this afternoon. When we come back, a closer look at the Mount St. Joe Lions. It's the Quakers and the Lions right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Do you need help taking care of your car? I know my family does. That's why we take our vehicles to Beach Automotive in Richmond. We've been relying on Brad and his crew for years, and they always take good care of us without breaking the bank. For great auto service, stop by Beach Automotive at 110 East Main. Give them a call at 966-8181 or go to their website at beach-auto.com. If you would like your athlete to take their game to the next level, look no further. New Vision Sports and their staff has over 20 years of experience in coaching and developing the serious-minded athlete. New Vision specializes in improving your basketball skills, overall speed, and agility. Find them on Facebook or Twitter, or give them a call at 765-977-5831. Again, call 765-977-5831, or go to their website at newvisionsports.com.
Maybe you haven't heard, but there's a place in Richmond's Depot District that's better than being home. Little Sheba's is a lot like the bar in that 80s TV show Cheers. Where everybody knows your name. Come on down after the game on Fridays and join us for pizza. We're here till 11. Or grab some of your friends and try out a game of live trivia Thursday nights at 6:30. If you love live music, Little Sheba's features some of the very best every weekend. Where else are you going to find this kind of variety, along with some of the best food and friends in town? Little Sheba's in Richmond's Depot District. It really is better than being home.
Back once again here at the Athletics and Wellness Center. Earlham and Mount St. Joe. Let's take a close look at the Lions. Again, they beat Hanover 67-63 on Wednesday, so they've now won 3 out of their last 5. They're without Sierra Phillips, their leading scorer and leading rebounder. She was almost a double-double coming in at 12.3 points per game and 9 rebounds per game. So you lose your leading scorer and leading rebounder, and yet you still find a way to win on the road at Hanover on Wednesday. They struggle scoring, averaging only 56.6 points per game. They give up 74.2. You're hoping the Quakers can take full advantage of that here this afternoon. They shoot only 32% from the floor, 27% from three-point range. Their shooting percentage at the free throw line also down this year at 6-11, and they also give up 45 rebounds per game and 19.7 turnovers per contest. As for the Quakers following their win, Case and Spey averaging 17.1 points per game, Hannah Franklin at 12.1, and now Mariah Flynn in double figures at 10.6, and the Quakers now averaging nearly 69 points per game. But on the defensive side, they too giving up 74 points per ball game. They're hoping defensively that will be much better today. So when we come back, we'll get you the starting lineups coming up in just a few moments. The first of 2 here this afternoon, the Quakers and the Lions, and certainly a big game for both these teams here today. The Quakers trying to get into the HCAC top 4 so they can make the tournament, and they certainly have a lot of work to do. But again, the Quakers at 1-6, Mount St. Joe at 3-4. They're right in the middle of the pack. We'll tip it off coming up in just a couple of moments. Stay right there. This is Earlham Women's Basketball, Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Richmond Power and Light has been providing safe, reliable energy to the citizens and businesses of Richmond and the surrounding area. Through their dedicated and talented employees, Richmond Power and Light is advancing their tradition of exceptional service through new technology, training, and efficiency in everything they do. For more information on Richmond Power and Light, go to their website at rp-l.com. Richmond Power and Light. Together, we make powerful partners.
There's only one place to go on the World Wide Web to find the best automotive deals. Wetzelauto.com. One of the area's largest inventories all in one spot. Wetzelauto.com. Here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wetzelauto.com. New and used vehicles, service, parts, body shop, and rental. Plus, value your trade. It's easy to navigate. It's convenient. Wetzelauto.com. It's clickin' awesome.
Are new cabinets on your wish list? Visit the new Georgia Direct showroom and see the great variety of cabinets on display in a modern setting. Georgia Direct carries quality craft-made one cabinets, and the new showroom has plenty of styles and colors on display. In Richmond, craft-made one is only available at Georgia Direct, where the designers are always on hand to help create a custom kitchen for your home. Visit Georgia Direct's new showroom on 40 East, next to Red Lobster. You'll love what you see, and you'll love the savings at Georgia Direct.
Mancino's Pizza and Grinders, the very best in pizza and grinders. We use only the highest quality meats, cheeses, and vegetables. It's impossible not to taste the difference. Every morning we bake our bread to ensure our customers the freshest sandwiches. Mancino's offers more than grinders. They also have fantastic specialty pizzas and salads. Stop by for lunch, dinner, or after the game. Mancino's, 217 National Road West in Richmond. The taste of quality you expect.
The dealership where I bought my car told me I needed new tires. So, of course, I stopped by Best One and asked Roger to take a look. So they checked it out, and he told me not yet. He said I was good for at least another 10,000 miles. I've always gotten an honest opinion at Best One, and so will you.
Hi, I'm Roger Clark at Best One Tire and Service. We'll only sell you tires when you need new tires, and they'll be the right tires for your car or truck. I guarantee it.
Best One Tire and Service, North 7th and A, Uptown Richmond.
Are you looking for a quality used car you can trust to take you where you want to go? Stop at Tony's Car Sales at 250 National Road West. Tony's has a top-of-the-line selection of low-mileage, one-owner cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, all handpicked by Mike and Adrian Parker. Tony's is family-owned with 3 generations and 60 years of experience. Check out their selection at Tony'sCarsales.com or at 250 National Road West. Tony's Car Sales, where honesty, quality, and price sell cars.
Back once again here at the Athletics and Wellness Center as we get set for the tip-off here tonight between Mount St. Joe and the Earlham Quakers. Here's the starting lineup for Mount St. Joe. A 5'6" junior from Oxford, Ohio, Bree Webb. She wears number 4. By the way, she spent a little time here at Earlham College, as did her sister, Bristol. Also starting today, 5'7" freshman out of Pleasant Plain, Ohio, number 13, Lainey Studer. A 5'6" junior from Oxford, number 14, Bristol Webb. A 5'7" senior from Louisville, Kentucky, Erica Walsh. Walsh will wear number 23. And a 5'7" senior out of Villa Hills, Kentucky, is number 42, Meredith Hartfield. So again today for Mount St. Joe, Bree Webb along with Lainey Studer, Bristol Webb, Erica Walsh, and Meredith Hartfield. For the Quakers, they'll go with Kaysen Spey, a 5'4" senior from Muncie. She wears number 11. Mariah Flynn is a 5'11" sophomore from Kodak, Tennessee, wearing number 14. Kiara Scott in the starting lineup, a 5'4" senior from Indianapolis. She wears number 15. Hannah Franklin is a 5'5" junior from Lynn, Indiana, wearing number 30. And Maya Looney in the starting lineup out of Brandenburg, Kentucky, a 5'10" junior. She wears number 42. So again for the Quakers, Spey, Flynn, Scott, Franklin, and Looney. And we are ready to get this one underway. Quakers again off a nice win over Defiance. I had a chance to talk with head coach for the Quakers, Janelle Iden, a little bit about her matchup zone. It was more of a matchup box and one, which I don't think I've ever heard of before. She's throwing a little twist into it, and she's beaten Defiance with it twice. I doubt we'll see that today against this Mount St. Joe team, but we'll wait and see what happens here throughout this one. So the Lions in their dark uniforms to start this one. Quakers in their home whites, and we're ready to get this one underway. Mount St. Joe 2-5 away from home this season. Quakers will attack left to right to get this one underway, and we are now ready to go. So Flynn with the tip. It'll be Quaker basketball. Mount St. Joe starting out man-to-man. In women's basketball now in quarters. Spey nearly gets away. In fact, she did get away with a little travel that time. Here's Looney in the paint. Quakers kick it out to Spey for 3 and misses it. And the rebound by Bree Webb. So it'll be Lion basketball. Here is Webb for 3, and it's good. Bree Webb averaging 7.4 points per game will give Mount St. Joe the early lead. Flynn has been playing well of late. She'll have it at the top of the key. Now to Looney. Here's Scott from 15. That one's good. Scott averaging 8.4 points per game. And it's a 1-point ball game early. Lions work it to the Webb. I should say to the right side, and that's going to be Hartfield with the bucket. Another 3 for Mount St. Joe, and the Lions on top of this one, 6-2. Scott down the lane, bucket good. Good start for Kiara Scott. It doesn't look, at least if you're looking early at these two teams, that they have any struggles whatsoever in the scoring department, as that one is missed. Hartfield unable to hit her second three. Here come the Quakers. Scott on the left wing will find Looney, drives down the lane and scores. The Quakers off to a good start, hitting their first three shots, and we're tied at 6. Mentioned standings-wise, Bluffton in first place in the conference. They're 7-0. They right now have a 2-game lead over Rose-Hulman and Franklin, as well as Transylvania. That ball is kicked and goes out of bounds. Hanover's 3-4, Mount St. Joe at 3-4. Those two teams are currently in 5th place, so just a game out of a possible playoff spot is Mount St. Joe. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Hartfield pulls up on the jumper, missed it. Here come the Quakers once again. High screen by Flynn, and that'll be Franklin on the right wing. Scott gets the screen by Flynn once again, but a whistle and a foul. Studer picks up the foul. That is her first. Team foul number 1 now on Mount St. Joe. And as you see, the Quakers inbounding. Looney in the lane, left it short. And the rebound by Studer. Their leading scorer is Hartfield, averaging only 8.4 points per game. Drive down the lane off the glass, good by Crystal Webb. And she'll get her first 2. Mount St. Joe now with a 2-point lead. Here's Scott, top of the key. 15 on the shot clock. Spey from the wing, missed it short. Mount St. Joe out on the run. And ahead of the field is Bree Webb, and she gets it. 5 points by Webb, and the Quakers get a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. Quakers trail this one by 4.
Game time. The Sportsplex is now open. Get your teams together and come out for basketball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, golf, batting cages, wrestling, and much, much more. The Sportsplex also offers court rentals for your entire team to play a pickup game or to hold practices. Use our turf fields for multiple sports, including flag football, baseball fielding, and rugby. Sportsplex is open 7 days a week. Check out FamilyFitnessWorks.com for more information and current hours, or call 765-935-0111.
Now Quakers get a quick 30-second timeout after a little run here by the Lions. Bree Webb with 5 points, 3 by Hartfield. Bristol Webb with 2 points. Scott leads the Quakers now with 4. And it is Quaker basketball. Setting is Spey at the top of the key, hits the 3. And Kaysen Spey with her first basket. And the Quakers down by 1. You know, sometimes when your best player is injured, like what you're seeing with Phillips and Mount St. Joe, other players stepping up. Here is Webb again for 3. Got another one. 3 Webb. Now with 8 points. Quakers quickly back the other way. Kaysen Spey will be fouled. Earlham so far good in their transition offense here in the opening period of play. Walsh will pick up the foul. That is her first. Team foul number 2. Now on Mount St. Joe, and here's Kaysen Spey at the line. Couple of changes as we will see Wilkins come in for the Quakers. Rachel Wilkins out of Oakland City, Indiana, played at Wood Memorial High School. And a change for Mount St. Joe as Rachel Fairfield coming in, a 6'3" post player out of Aurora, Indiana. She played at Oldenburg Academy. 1 of 2 for Spey. Quakers trail it by 3. Here is Webb again. 3-pointer counted. Bree Webb, her third three-pointer, already in double figures now for Mount St. Joe. And the Quakers now trail this one by 6. Scott baseline left, inside to Flynn. Short jumper good. Flynn getting her first 2. As we mentioned, Flynn has her scoring average now at 10.6 points per game. Boy, they got to find a way right now to stop Bree Webb, who's on fire here with 11 points in the opening period of play. High post to Fairfield. On the wing, that shot short. As coming in the ball game is Sturwold now for Mount St. Joe, and the Quakers with their first turnover of the ball game. And quickly the other way, here's another 3. That is short by Hartfield. And now we're going up and down. Here is Case and Spey missing the layup. The rebound put back, no. There is Scott, can't get it to go. Wilkins with the rebound. Her putback good. 3 offensive rebounds for the Quakers, and Wilkins makes it pay off. (16-14), now a 2-point lead. Studer on the dribble. Here's a 3 again. This time Webb misses. Put back no by Hartfield. And now the Quakers in transition the other way again. Here's Scott. Scott will drive and draw the foul.
Foul number 42, Meredith Hatfield. Her first, third on the line. Kiara Scott shooting 2.
Hartfield, by the way, picks up the foul. That is her first. Team foul number 3. Scott is at the line. Scott now with 5, and the Quakers back to within 1 after falling down by 6. Coming in now for Mount St. Joe is Mariah Sams out of Cincinnati. Scott able to get both free throws, and we're tied once again at 16. Scott coming out of the Earlham lineup. We'll see Lexi McFarland, the junior guard out of Memphis, Indiana, coming in. And we're down to 3:57 to go here in this opening period of play. Boy, nice strong drive, basket good. That'll be Bristol Webb. McFarland picks up the foul. I think McFarland thought she was going to have some help on the backside once she got beat off the dribble, but there was no one there. So right now, Bree Webb and Bristol Webb, 2 former Earlham players, having good opening periods now for Mount St. Joe. It'll be Quaker basketball, 3:45 to go. 2-3 zone now put together by Mount St. Joe. Here's Spey on the right wing looking into Looney. Franklin from about 18 missed it. And the rebound Walsh, and then a jump ball in the backcourt. That is Case and Spey there for the Quakers. Possession arrow in favor of Mount St. Joe. And this game will be followed up by the men's game. That one will probably tip off at around 3:15, 3:30. Fairfield out in that area where she did not want to be, and a lot of guards hanging around her, and the Lions have the basketball as driving and a foul call. Almost appeared that Webb had tripped over her own 2 feet, but they'll say she was tripped by a Quaker player. That's going to be Case and Spey who picks up the foul. Team foul number 2. We'll see Sylvia Barnes come in now for the Quakers. Barnes wearing number 22 for Earlham. Mount St. Joe on the inbound. Dangerous pass as Scott returning to the lineup, and we're going to have a foul called on Kiara Scott. In the NCAA instructing their officials at the beginning of the year really to clamp down on the arm bar and the hand check, so you're going to see more fouls, and I know it's been in play a lot this year. Off the screen is Bree Webb. Missed it badly. The offensive rebound put back no by Walsh, and somehow Mount St. Joe came up with it again. Here's a three-pointer. That one is good by Studer. Back to a 6-point lead now for Mount St. Joe. For a team that struggles scoring, they're having no issues right now as Barnes misses the shot. Here's Bristol Webb. They're going to go right at Looney, and Looney gets the block shot of Walsh. .2:33 remaining in the opening period. Quakers down by 6. Mount St. Joe off the inbound. Still 20 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Studer at the elbow. Gets the screen from Walsh. Studer's going to drive. Drew some contact. No whistle. Wilkins the rebound for the Quakers. And McFarland will find Barnes. Back to McFarland. Quakers will set it up in the half court. It's still a 2-3 zone for Mount St. Joe. Scott will find McFarland off the screen. In and out on the three. Rebound Looney. Put back strong. Barnes in there, and she'll get tied up. It'll be Earlham basketball. We'll see another change for Earlham as Flynn will come in. And looks like Hartfield will come back in now for Mount St. Joe. And that'll put Fairfield on the bench. He only averages 0.7 points per game at 6'3". Flynn off the inbound, missed it. Quakers hot early, gone cold. Here's Bristol Webb. 1:47 to go. Wide open on the wing, and the three-pointer good. Walsh hits the three, her first basket, and the Quakers need another timeout. They've given up 25 points in the opening period to a team that's averaging only 57 points per game. We'll take a timeout as well. This is Earlham Women's Basketball, Radio Troy Digital Sports.
There are banks that are big, and then there's West End Bank. A bank with big ideas to help people, business, and industry. If you're just starting out on your own and want a new car, West End can help. Maybe it's your first home and you need advice on financing. West End Bank has ideas to help you. West End Bank, helping build better lives and a better community. West End Bank is a community bank with big ideas and home to a distinctive style of banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Reynolds Plumbing, the area's leader in residential and commercial plumbing. Fast, friendly, 24-hour emergency service. You name it, they can fix it. Whether it's installation, remodeling, sump pumps, well pumps, water heaters, or sewer camera service, they now have service on heating and air conditioning. Give them a call at 966-0994 for free estimates. Reynolds Plumbing, 198 South 2nd Street in Richmond.
Right now, Earlham down by their biggest deficit. And we're still in period number 1. The Quakers have had to use 2 timeouts. And it'll be Earlham basketball down by 9. McFarland on the right wing, back to Franklin. Looney working down low along with Flynn. Here's a shot from the baseline corner, no good, and the rebound by Walsh. And Mount St. Joe will try to continue to build on their 9-point lead. There's another drive down the lane. Looney gets another block shot as she gets a piece of Walsh as well, but then a foul.
Number 23,
and they'll get Walsh picking up number 2. Team foul number 4 now on Mount St. Joe.
Joy Blacken into the Lions lineup.
Joy Glacken coming in out of Cleves, Ohio, a 5'7" freshman. Blacken not seeing a whole lot of time this year. This is only her 8th game, and totally she's only played 48 minutes. So Mount St. Joe, their head coach Dan Benjamin, his 2nd year. Of course, this was a program that Janelle Iden was to take over at one point before Earlham coach Melissa Johnson fell ill. Here's Scott on the drive, missed it. And all of a sudden now the Quakers can't buy a basket. Here's Studer. Studer drive against Scott, missed the layup. And we've got a foul on Bree Webb. Webb will pick up her first. Another change here for Mount St. Joe as Brooklyn Sturwold will be back in. And Earlham goes to the free throw line. Here's Lexi McFarland. McFarland coming off a nice game. In fact, one of the leading scorers in the last game against Defiance hits her first free throw. McFarland also, by the way, has her scoring average up to 6.3. 9 of 14 from the line coming in, hits them both. And this is turning out to be, again, a very high-scoring opening period. 25-18, Mount St. Joe with the lead. Jumper straight away off the glass, missed by Studer, and yet Brista Webb able to get an offensive rebound. Lions will stretch things out on offense, trying to find an opening. Here is the drive, the kick, three-pointer by Brista Webb, no good. Flynn saves it from going out of bounds for the Quakers. Here comes Earlham, and they cannot get a look. That will end the opening period of play. Mount St. Joe on top of this one, 25-18. This is Earlham women's basketball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
There's a place in Richmond's Depot District that's better than being home. Little Sheba's is a lot like the bar in that 80s TV show where everybody knows your name. Come on down after the game on Fridays and join us for pizza. We're here till 11. Or grab some friends and come play live trivia Thursday nights at 6:30. If you love live music, Little Sheba's features some of the very best every weekend. Where else can you find this kind of variety along with some of the best food and friends in town? Little Sheba's in Richmond's Depot District. It really is better than being home.
Hey, Chuck, where you headed? Spinning's about to start.
I'm heading to CrossFit.
Isn't that for, like, the elite lifters or athletes only?
No, at FFW CrossFit, all workouts can and will be scaled to any ability level to welcome everyone.
Sounds great. I need to get out of the same old workout routine. I'm just not sure I can keep up. It seems pretty intense.
No real lifting experience is needed. FFW CrossFit teaches you everything you need to know and move at your own pace in a positive, motivating environment.
You know, I've always wanted to give it a try. I'll see you there.
Learn more at ffwcrossfit.com.
Well, Quakers will have to shore things up defensively. I think that might be a pretty obvious statement right there. You give up 25 points in that opening period of play. Bree Webb with 11 of those 25. Quakers are led by Kiara Scott with 6 points in the opening period of play. It'll be Mount St. Joe basketball, but before we start play, the one official going over, we had some shot clock issues the other day, but it appears that has been taken care of so far here today. So the Quakers now a little 1-3-1. Janelle Iden liking to mix things up. Here's a three-pointer the way. Boy, way off the mark that time by Studer. And one thing we've seen about the Lions so far, they are not afraid to launch up a three. So far, they have hit 6 3-pointers here in the first half. McFarland, top of the key. By the way, new change for the Quakers as Shania Feathers has now checked into the lineup. Here is McFarland for three. McFarland will make it a 4-point ball game. McFarland now with 5. down the lane. Too hard off the glass is Bristol Webb, and yet Webb came out with it again. Numerous offensive rebounds early. Nice pass underneath. Layup good by Sturwold. Give the assist to Hartfield. So now the Quakers back on offense, and a foul will send Spay to the line.
Foul number 42, American Hatfield, her second. First of the line.
Second one.
Spay, shooting 2.
Hartfield picks up number 2. And here's Kaysen Spay at the line, 1 for 2 this afternoon. And missed another one, and Kaysen generally doesn't miss free throws. Well, the top free throw shooters in the country at 89%. Hannah Franklin is at nearly 95%. Second free throw now by Spay is good. Kaysen now with 5, averaging 17 points per ball game. And Earlham down by 5. Lions, good ball movement. They don't hold on to it very long. Here's a 15-footer on the way. Good. Wide open that time with Studer. She now has 5. And Earlham's zone not working very well early. Spay, boy, they kind of left her wide open there as Bree Webb didn't get over on the 2-3 zone. Here's Franklin. Goes down, gets it to McFarland. Her shot on the way is short. And Studer the rebound now for Mount St. Joe. Here they come the other way. They're wasting no time. Skip pass to Bree Webb. Another 3. Rims in and out. And the rebound, Kaysen Spay. Franklin back to Spay. Top of the key 3. Good. Back to a 4-point lead now for the Lions. Kaysen now with 8 points. Studer out front along with Bristol Webb. Studer looking to break down Flynn at the top as the Quakers go man, and there's a travel. That's unofficially the first turnover for Mount St. Joe. The Quakers have 1. Mount St. Joe with 1. So from that aspect, the game has been played relatively clean. Change once again as we will see Sturwold come back in. And Hartfield will sit down. Quakers stack everything to the right side, and McFarland breaks loose, misses the shot. Offensive rebound. Flynn will find Franklin. She can't get it to go. The offensive rebound, no, and somehow on the other side, Spay comes out with it. Spay working against Studers. The Quakers get a fresh 30. Franklin, by the way, has yet to score, and that'll put Shania Feathers to the line. Not even sure how many shots Franklin has taken so far here in the first half. It hasn't been many. Feathers at the line for the Quakers. Feathers only a 50% free throw shooter. She's only been to the line 10 times coming in. And she will miss the first one. Sam's back in for Mount St. Joe. 6:52 to go, period 2. Quakers down by 4. Second free throw is good, so Feathers will get 1 of 2. And we've got a timeout on the floor. It's a 3-point advantage, Mount St. Joe. This is Earlham Women's Basketball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Jiffy Lube of Richmond features the Jiffy Lube Signature Service Oil Change. As much as you paid for your vehicle, keep it on the road as long as possible. The Jiffy Lube Signature Service Oil Change is more than an oil change. It's preventative maintenance to keep your car running smoothly. Jiffy Lube, 2993 East Main in Richmond. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, and Saturday, 8 to 5.
Quakers will now full court press. We've seen a mixture of a lot of different combinations of players and defenses so far in the first half by Earlham. Quakers trying to slow Mount St. Joe down a little bit here in the second quarter. Ball stripped. Mount St. Joe with their second turnover. Here's Franklin. Will find Feathers. Feathers has her shot blocked. Back in the ball game is Fairfield for Mount St. Joe. That one pull-up jumper baseline good by Sams. Feathers went right by her. And boy, we're getting up and down the floor now as both teams continually work in transition. Sams, by the way, scoring her first two. She only averages 2 points per game. Flynn, Feathers, baseline shot, no. And the rebound, McFarland back into Flynn, and the outside official will whistle that one. And that may be Bree Webb picking up her second. That's going to be Bristol Webb. That's going to be her first. And that'll put Flynn at the line. Flynn now with 3. Scott back in, Looney back in for the Quakers. Second free throw by Mariah Flynn. Good as well. Flynn at 67% on the year, and the Quakers back to within 3. Flynn now with 4. Bree Webb against her former teammate, Kaysen Spey. Bristol Webb looking for that screen at the top. Well, she had enough separation between her and Franklin. She possibly could have had a shot right there as that ball goes in and out of the hands of Fairfield. Third turnover for Mount St. Joe. And the Quakers back in the half court. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Scott. Looney setting the screen. And the low pass to Spey goes to Franklin. Flynn sets the screen. Franklin off to Scott. 5 on the shot clock. Scott to Looney. Looney up over the 6'3 post player. Fairfield left it short. Flynn gets it back, lays it up, can't get it. Scott another offensive rebound, blocked by Fairfield. Ball loose, and the Quakers get it back. Boy, it's 6'3 inside. Fairfield causing some issues defensively. Here is Flynn down low, got a little shimmy from behind, no whistle. And Mount St. Joe comes out with it. Sturwold. Now we'll find Sams. Top of the key is Bristol Webb. She will find Bree Webb. Her shot missed. And Franklin. And we've got a double foul called right here. Scott. And I believe Bristol Webb getting tangled up down the floor. So Bristol Webb picks up her second. Scott will pick up number 2. And it was my understanding that when Bree Webb and Bristol Webb left Earlham, they left at the semester break, went to Mount St. Joe, and jumped on their basketball team. So you can understand why there might be a little hard feelings between the Quakers and the Webbs. And I also understand now the conference won't allow you to do that anymore. Bristol Webb coming out of the lineup. Mount St. Joe coming back with Glacken. 4:22 to go. Entry pass to Looney. Quakers working a little triangle to the near side. They'll go back to Looney. Here is Spey for 3, good. And the Quakers have battled back to tie this ball game at 31. Here's Studer. Earlham clamping down a little bit more defensively as they've gone back man-to-man. Ball loose on the baseline. Saved by Sturwold. 3 on the shot clock. And the Quakers force another turnover. That's number 4. Here's Spey, and Spey will draw the foul. Fairfield picks up the foul. And Kason Spey to the free throw line. 11 points by Spey. Quakers now chance to take the lead. Hartfield comes back in now for Mount St. Joe. By the way, Bree Webb, who got off to that good start with 11 points in the opening period, has been held scoreless in the second. Meanwhile, Kason Spey coming alive for the Quakers here in period 2 with 9 points. Currently has 13 to lead all scorers, and another turnover. Hannah Franklin with a steal. Franklin takes it away from Studer. And now Earlham back into the half court. Mount St. Joe will stay in there 2-3. McFarland, top of the key. Looney. Wilkins back once again to McFarland. Shot clock is at 4. Here is Spey for 3. Can't get that one to fall. Ball loose, right to Franklin. Put back counted. And Hannah Franklin able to get her first 2 points. Earlham now up by 4. We've seen a 15-point swing now here in the first half. Lions now with 13 on the shot clock. Hartfield on the right wing. Boy, entry pass intended for Bree Webb goes out of bounds. Last touched by McFarland. Only 6 now on the shot clock. And Kiara Scott will come in. Off the entry, here's Studer. Does she realize there's only 2 on the shot clock, and they do get a shot off at the buzzer, but it was awful close, and Bree Webb just kind of forcing up a shot at the last moment. Quakers now chance with just over 2 minutes remaining in the first half to build on a 4-point lead, and then they turn it over. Second turnover for the Quakers. Just not a good pass that time by Kason Spey. Mount St. Joe wide open. Fairfield missed it. That's out of her range. Bree Webb with the offensive rebound back to Fairfield. Missed it again. Quakers will let her shoot it all day long. Here come the Quakers. Wilkins down the lane. Bucket good. 4 points for Wilkins. Quakers lead it by 6. 1:26 to go in the first half. Looney gets the deflection. 6th turnover for Mount St. Joe. There's Kason Spey with the left hand. And the Quakers lead it by 8. And Mount St. Joe turn it over again. Wilkins scores. Boy, and Earlham leading it by 10. Here's Bree Webb across the timeline. It's all Earlham in this second quarter. And they got Webb trapped at midcourt, and then a foul called in the Quakers. Spey picks up number 2. Earlham has outscored Mount St. Joe 23-6 in this quarter. Especially after you look back at quarter number 1 when Mount St. Joe scored 25 points. Barnes back in for Earlham. Wilkins will take that back. Also coming in will be Mariah Flynn. Now Mount St. Joe trying to recover, and that ball goes out of bounds again. 8th turnover now for Mount St. Joe, and they're a completely different team in the second quarter from what we saw in the opening period. Down to a final 41 seconds remaining. And What a first half for Case and Spey. Halftime, we'll give you the first half numbers. As always, here's Scott, offensive foul. A little push that time. And she ran over the top of Bree Webb, and Scott's going to pick up her third, and she gave a little extra shimmy on that one, too. So Scott comes out, Hannah Franklin back in. And there's another near steal as Barnes almost able to come up with a turnover. That would have been number 9 now for Mount St. Joe, and most of those coming here in the second quarter. Here's Bree Webb against McFarland. Shot clock is off. Game clock at 16 seconds to go. Webb will spin. Shot no. Put back good. There's Hartfield. Barnes will give it back to Franklin. 2 seconds. Franklin, and the Quakers can't get a shot off, and we move to halftime. Big second quarter for the Quakers, and they lead it at halftime 41-33. Stay right there. We'll give you those first half numbers coming up in just a few moments. This is Earlham Women's Basketball on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Hangout Academy has everything you need to train year-round to become a better player. They offer everything from cage rentals to private lessons and specialized classes. They offer hitting, infield play, outfield play, catching, pitching, strength, and agility for baseball and softball players alike. Their goal is to leave players with a better understanding of the game and to learn why they do certain things, and as always, play the game the right way. For more information, go to their website, hittershangoutacademy.com.
There's only one place to go on the World Wide Web to find the best automotive deals. Wetzelauto.com. One of the area's largest inventories all in one spot. Wetzelauto.com. Here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wetzelauto.com. New and used vehicles, service, parts, body shop, and rental. Plus, value your trade. It's easy to navigate. It's convenient. Wetzelauto.com. It's clickin' awesome.
For over a century, Richmond Power & Light has been providing safe, reliable energy to the citizens and businesses of Richmond and the surrounding area. Through their dedicated and talented employees, Richmond Power & Light is advancing their tradition of exceptional service through new technology, training, and efficiency in everything they do. For more information on Richmond Power & Light, go to their website at rp-l.com. Richmond Power & Light. Together, we make powerful partners.
Maybe you haven't heard, but there's a place in Richmond's Depot District that's better than being home. Little Sheba's is a lot like the bar in that 80s TV show Cheers. You know, where everybody knows your name. Come on down after the game on Fridays and join us for pizza. We're here till 11. Or grab some of your friends and try out a game of live trivia Thursday nights at 6:30. If you love live music, Little Sheba's features some of the very best every weekend. Where else are you going to find this kind of variety, along with some of the best food and friends in town? Little Sheba's in Richmond's Depot District. It really is better than being home.
If you would like your athlete to take their game to the next level, look no further. New Vision Sports and their staff has over 20 years of experience in coaching and developing the serious-minded athlete. New Vision specializes in improving your basketball skills, overall speed, and agility. Find them on Facebook or Twitter, or give them a call at 765-977-5831. Again, call 765-977-5831, or go to their website at newvisionsports.com.
If you're wanting to be around a team that competes and goes out there every day and pushes you to be your best baseball player, then this is the place to come.
You just get excited to come out here every day. I mean, we got a press box, we got a top-of-the-line facility, top-of-the-line education, great talent, and I mean, there's so much to love here.
This isn't my program. This isn't my assistant's program. This is all of our programs, the players to the coaches, and we're all invested in what goes on here. This is what I call a baseball fraternity. I want to feel like they're a vital part, and every single one of our players are a vital part of what goes on here.
For this program at Earlham, it's more of a family environment. Everybody, there's no cliques or anything. Everybody loves each other just as much. Everybody hangs out with each other on and off the field. We believe in the team first rather than at a D1 program. People are more worried about their stats. We worry about more as a team aspect, and we'd rather hit 250 and win a conference championship than hit 450 and finish last.
I'll be without you.
Earlham's ranked in the top 100 in the nation, school-wise. We got great programs. Teachers know what they're doing. They know you by your name. They don't just know you just because you're an athlete. They want to get to know you. They help you out. And at a D1 school, even D2 schools, there's a bunch of kids in classes, like 70 to 100 kids in a class, and they don't really know your name. They don't care. They just want you to turn in papers. But here, they work with you. They want you to learn more stuff.
If you wanted to expand your horizon of a lot of things, especially the academic part, Earlham is probably the best choice. And to put icing on the cake for baseball, if you love baseball and you love the game and you want to keep playing, Earlham's probably the best place for you. You're blessed with all the facilities, blessed with great coaching staff, and everyth's basically right here in front of you to create the best person you can possibly be through baseball and academics.
My only desire to bridge on division.
First year we had the facility, we went from a 12-27 team to a 21-18 team. Big turnaround, first winning season since 1971, and it wasn't new players coming into the program. We took the players we had in the program and made them better through practice and the facility that we have now that allows us to be out here in bad weather and be able to work in multiple areas and not wear bare spots down in the grass and all that. So this allows us to make the players that we have in the program better by our practices and through those things. Now it helps us recruit a better student athlete with having this facility as well too, so that when a kid sees this, he thinks he's not missing anything by not going to Division I. He's getting that experience here.
We've got one of the best facilities in D3. I can tell you that right now, because this is just as good as Cincinnati. Like, they had a monster at Cincy, we got a monster here. Scoreboard's just as good, turf field's just as good, clubhouse, locker room, cages, everything is just as good as the D1 facility.
Absolutely amazing. You couldn't really get a better facility. I've been to a few D1 programs too. Our facility compares just to like their facility. Playing on an all-turf field is awesome. It has its ups and its downs. Our locker room is amazing. Everybody's always in there. We always like to bond in there. And having the training room right next to it is really easy for after practice. If people need treatment, just hop in there real quick. Won't have to worry about anybody else, any other teams. It's baseball oriented. We get in, we get out, and we go on with our business.
I came to Earlham because the coaching staff is just unbelievable. Coach Sack is just a hell of a coach, and then Coach JB, there's not much he doesn't know. I mean, and it's great to pick their brains.
Our motto, "Earn Not Given," is definitely meant what it is to play for Coach Sack. You know, he goes to bat for us with everything. You know, he always has our back through on and off the field, through thick and thin, anything. He'll go and talk to you about anything, and it's awesome playing for someone who truly cares for you and truly cares for the team.
I love playing for him. I could say he's one of, if not the best coach I've probably ever played for. Even outside of baseball, he's going to fight for us no matter what. Even on the field, he's going to fight for us. If he doesn't think something right, he's going to tell you. He's going to be blunt about it. He holds us all accountable. And I think that's the most important thing, because on the field, we know we're playing for him, and he knows he's coaching for us.
You know, it's not anymore where we have moral victories. We're going out there and we're trying to win as many games as we can to get ourselves in the conference championship, win that conference championship, and play for a national championship.
The group of guys we got coming in all have been a part of winning programs their entire life. So when we all get here, we all have the same goal and the same aspirations to become the best team in the conference.
We want to be as competitive as we can be, and we're going to give them an experience that they're not going to get anywhere else. With the facility, with the academics, with the gear, with everything that encompasses what this program's about, they're not going to get that somewhere else. So you want to be a part of this, jump on early so you can.
There's so much to love here.
There are banks that are big, and then there's West End Bank, a bank with big ideas to help people, business, and industry. If you're just starting out on your own and want a new car, West End can help. Maybe it's your first home and you need advice on financing. West End Bank has ideas to help you. West End Bank, helping build better lives and a better community. West End Bank is a community bank with big ideas and home to a distinctive style of banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Reynolds Plumbing, the area's leader in residential and commercial plumbing. Fast, friendly, 24-hour emergency service. You name it, they can fix it. Whether it's installation, remodeling, sump pumps, well pumps, water heaters, or sewer camera service, they now have service on heating and air conditioning. Give them a call at 966-0994 for free estimates. Reynolds Plumbing, 198 South 2nd Street in Richmond.
There's a place in Richmond's Depot District that's better than being home. Little Sheba's is a lot like the bar in that 80s TV show where everybody knows your name. Come on down after the game on Fridays and join us for pizza. We're here till 11. Or grab some friends and come play live trivia Thursday nights at 6:30. If you love live music, Little Sheba's features some of the very best every weekend. Where else can you find this kind of variety along with some of the best food and friends in town? Little Sheba's in Richmond's Depot District. It really is better than being home.
Hey, Chuck, where you headed? Spinning's about to start.
I'm heading to CrossFit.
Isn't that for, like, the elite lifters or athletes only?
No, at FFW CrossFit, all workouts can and will be scaled to any ability level to welcome everyone.
Sounds great. I need to get out of the same old workout routine. I'm just not sure I can keep up. It seems pretty intense.
No real lifting experience is needed. FFW CrossFit teaches you everything you need to know and move at your own pace in a positive, motivating environment.
You know, I've always wanted to give it a try. I'll see you there.
Learn more at ffwcrossfit.com.
Back once again here at the Athletics and Wellness Center. Here are your halftime numbers. We'll start first off with Mount St. Joe. 13 of 34 in the first half. Good enough for 38%. They were 6 of 14 from three-point range. They shot very well in that opening period of play. They ended up being 6 of 14, good enough for 43% in the first half. Only one free throw, and they hit that. That was Bristol Webb in the first half of play. Rebounding-wise, Quakers out-rebounded Earlham, or I should say Earlham out-rebounded Mount St. Joe 27-19. Mount St. Joe with 7 offensive rebounds. They finished with 8 assists, 8 turnovers, and 2 steals in the first half. Bree Webb with 11. Studer with 5. Also Bristol Webb with 5. Walsh with 3 points. Hartfield finished with 5. Sams with 2. And Sturwald finished with 2. For Earlham, they ended up shooting only 35% in the first half of play. They were 13 of 37, 4 of 11 from three-point range, and 11 of 14 from the free throw line. So the Quakers get to the free throw line in that first half of play. Quakers, again, 27 rebounds, 13 offensive boards in the first half of play. 8 assists, only 3 turnovers for the Quakers in the first half, and 6 steals. Quakers led by Case and Spey with 15. Mariah Flynn had 4. Scott with 6. Franklin with 2. Looney with 2. McFarland with 5. Feathers with a single point. And Wilkins with 6 in the first half of play. So, a reversal from quarter number 1 to quarter number 2, where Mount St. Joe scored 25 points in that opening period of play, only 8 in the second. Quakers had 18 in the opening period and then 23 in quarter number 2. We'll come back. Your second half is coming up in just a few moments. This is Earlham Women's Basketball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Do you need help taking care of your car? I know my family does. That's why we take our vehicles to Beach Automotive in Richmond. We've been relying on Brad and his crew for years, and they always take good care of us without breaking the bank. For great auto service, stop by Beach Automotive at 110 East Main. Give them a call at 966-8181 or go to their website at beach-auto.com.
Earlhamites, staying connected with the college is easy thanks to your alumni office. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, access the alumni directory on Earlham's online portal, read the Earlhamite magazine, and visit us online. We're here for you. Go Quakers!
Our new cabinets on your wish list? Visit the new Georgia Direct showroom and see the great variety of cabinets on display in a modern setting. Georgia Direct carries quality craft-made one cabinets, and the new showroom has plenty of styles and colors on display. In Richmond, craft-made one is only available at Georgia Direct, where the designers are always on hand to help create a custom kitchen for your home. Visit Georgia Direct's new showroom on 40 East, next to Red Lobster. You'll love what you see, and you'll love the savings at Georgia Direct.
Mancino's Pizza and Grinders, the very best in pizza and grinders. We use only the highest quality meats, cheeses, and vegetables. It's impossible not to taste the difference. Every morning we bake our bread to ensure our customers the freshest sandwiches. Mancino's offers more than grinders. They also have fantastic specialty pizzas and salads. Stop by for lunch, dinner, or after the game. Mancino's, 217 National Road West in Richmond. The taste of quality you expect.
Welcome back once again to the Athletics and Wellness Center. 41-33 as we're ready for the third. Hannah Franklin back out on the floor for the Quakers. Looks like McFarland is going to start in the second half. Also, Flynn is in along with Case and Spey and Maya Looney. So the Quakers make just a one change from the starting lineup in the first half of play. So again, McFarland has been playing very well of late, so getting a chance to, again, start here in the second half. So it will be Mount St. Joe basketball. Studer at the point. Now for Mount St. Joe. Here's Bristol Webb, gets cut off. And off now to Walsh. Back to Bristol Webb. That is Studer straight away, still 10 on the shot clock. Bree Webb back outside now to Hartfield. Now to be Walsh. Nice up and under. Looney got a piece of the arm. No whistle. Quakers come out with it. So Earlham a chance to build on that lead they picked up at halftime by scoring 23 points, holding Mount St. Joe to just 8. Again, a men and women's doubleheader today. McFarland from the corner for 3. 8 points now for McFarland. And the Quakers have the lead back to 11. That one scooped up with the right hand by Bristol Webb, now with 7. And the lead at 9. Quakers go inside to Looney. Looney with the left hand. No. Looney will get called for the rebound foul. That is only the first on Looney. You know, the Quakers stayed out of foul trouble in that matchup against Defiance. And it paid huge dividends. It's doing it again here tonight because you have back in your lineup your bigs like Looney, like Feathers. Shot clock at 15. Here's Bree Webb down the lane. Her first points since the opening period of play. Lead at 7. Spey slowing things up back to Franklin at midcourt. Now it'll be McFarland. Here is the jumper from the free throw line, missed by Franklin. And the rebound, Hartfield. Well, that one rimmed in and out. Lead pass to Walsh. Walsh, layup good. A little run put together here by Mount St. Joe. It's now a 5-point lead. And we've got a 30-second timeout. Quakers.
30-second timeout.
We'll talk about it. 7:45 remaining here in the third.
Jiffy Lube of Richmond features the Jiffy Lube Signature Service Oil Change. As much as you paid for your vehicle, keep it on the road as long as possible. The Jiffy Lube Signature Service Oil Change is more than an oil change. It's preventative maintenance to keep your car running smoothly. Jiffy Lube, 2993 East Main in Richmond. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, and Saturday, 8 to 5.
Mount St. Joe trying to put together a little run right here. They're back to within 5. And Coach Iden getting a quick timeout, just kind of settle things down a little bit. You see the Lions back into their 2-3 zone. Spay off the baseline, can't get it. Flynn had it, ball loose. Looney on the floor. We will say, man, it would be Earlham basketball or Mount St. Joe. They called it jump ball, I do believe. One official going over to talk to the other official. This is where we're supposed to be getting ambiance on the floor, but my cameraman's not giving me ambiance. Official goes to the scores table, and they will say it is Quaker basketball. Quakers' unusual inbound right here. Flynn, baseline shot, no. Ball tipped and right in the hands of Bree Webb. You like that inbound, though, as Janelle Iden, very creative. Not a typical inbounds play. Ball saved by Studer on the sideline, almost turning it over. Here's Bree Webb, who will find Walsh. Baseline shot, good. That'll be a 2-point bucket by Walsh. And it's back to a 3-point lead. Here is Spay from 3. Rims in at it again, and the Quakers can't get one to fall here in the third. Here's Scott. And also coming in for the Quakers will be Wilkins. So now the Quakers outscored 8-3 here in the third quarter. Mount St. Joe scored as many points right now as they did in the entire second period alone. High post to Walsh. Hartfield entry pass down to Bree Webb, and it'll be a foul call against the Quakers. Scott's going to pick up number 4. So the Quakers gambling with Scott in with those 3 fouls, and here is Bree Webb, and the free throw's good. Case and Spay quickly back in. Scott will have to sit down, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point ball game. And Webb coming back alive now with 15, and the Quaker lead now down to 1. Franklin will find McFarland. Lions extending the 2-3 zone. Here's Franklin now on the right side. That ball deflected. Down to 10 now. Here's Franklin wide open. No, and everything rimming in and out for the Quakers. And it goes out of bounds. Last touched by Mariah Flynn. So we have seen the momentum swing the other way now for Mount St. Joe. Quakers have had several shots just rim in and out here in the third. Down the lane, off the glass, no good by Bristol Webb, and we've got a foul on the Quakers on the rebound. Lynn's going to pick up her first, and Mount St. Joe can take the lead right here. Janelle Iden wanting an explanation, and if our cameraman was giving us ambiance, he would have shown us that too. But he must be a Union guy today. Off the inbound. Here's the jumper. Good! It'll be a 2-point basket by Hartfield, and Mount St. Joe has come back now to take the lead by 1. It was all Quakers in the second. McFarland for 3. Good. And a much-needed bucket by McFarland. Now the Quakers lead it by 2. McFarland with all 6 points for the Quakers here in the third. Bristol Webb on the drive, left it short. It goes out of bounds, last touched by Case and Spey. Quakers coming back now with Barnes. Now they'll let Barnes enter the lineup. And McFarland coming out. Interesting call there for the Quakers, bringing McFarland out of the lineup after hitting 2 threes here in the third quarter. And I think they're going to get Wilkins on the foul. She tried to get through that screen, ended up running the screener over. Mount St. Joe will get a fresh 30 on the shot clock as well. Hartfield, step back 3. No. Offensive rebound attempted that time by Walsh, but it goes off the fingertips of Mariah Flynn. Quakers will make a change. We will see Maya Looney come back in. And we're all Looney for Maya. Mount St. Joe again, another 30 on the shot clock. Did you get that? We're all Looney for Maya? He didn't get it. Did you understand that? Yeah. 19 on the shot clock. Walsh off now to Studer. Studer gets the screen by Walsh. Studer on the drive, almost loses it. Here's Hartfield for 3. No. And the Quakers get it. Here's Spey. Hard-fought contest here this afternoon. Here's Barnes. Back once again to Spey. Spey with 15 at the half. So far scoreless here in the third. Looney underneath the basket. And they'll call that foul on Walsh, and that'll be her third.
Number 23, Miracle Walsh, her third, first on the line.
Looney with the left hand. Good. So Maya Looney now with 4. And the Quakers back up by 4. Bree Webb now to a driving Hartfield and a traveling call. Mount St. Joe now with their 9th turnover. So now the Quakers leading it by 4. Have they survived the run put together by Mount St. Joe, and a foul away from the basketball. And I think they may have just gotten Maya Looney. Maya not a happy camper right now. She just picked up her second. So now the Quakers, a little full court press. Studer across the timeline will give it off now to Bristol Webb. Nice entry pass on the backdoor cut. Nothing there for Bristol Webb, but feeds it inside to Walsh. She can't get it to go. Walsh gets the rebound and fouled from behind, and they got Barnes. That will put Walsh at the line for the first time this afternoon. 3.5 to go here in the third. Quakers lead it by 4 after Mount St. Joe came back to take the lead. Three new players coming in for the Quakers. Mariah Flynn, Shania Feathers coming in, McFarland back in. Wilkins, Looney, and Barnes all sitting down for Earlham. Second free throw by Walsh, and that one got a roll. So the Quakers lead it by 3. Earlham trying to get their second win in conference play to be 2 in a row and give Mount St. Joe their 5th loss in the conference. Spey, crossover, stolen away. 4th turnover for the Quakers, and then back the other way. Oh boy, tough call that time against Mount St. Joe. Studer was heading in for a layup, and the official called a traveling call. Looked like that ball was knocked out of bounds from behind, and a trailing defender of the Quakers, so a tough call against Mount St. Joe. Entry pass to Flynn, back outside to Spey for 3, good. Jason Spey now with 18, and boy, that turnover for Mount St. Joe led to the 3-pointer for the Quakers. Big bucket right there. Here's another 3, fired up good. That's Hartfield for 3. She is now in double figures with 10, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 2:36 to go. Here in the third, the Quakers leading this one by 3.
The dealership where I bought my car told me I needed new tires. So, of course, I stopped by Best One and asked Roger to take a look. So they checked it out, and he told me not yet. He said I was good for at least another 10,000 miles. I've always gotten an honest opinion at Best One, and so will you.
Hi, I'm Roger Clark at Best One Tire and Service. We'll only sell you tires when you need new tires, and they'll be the right tires for your car or truck. I guarantee it.
Best One Tire and Service, North 7th and A, Uptown Richmond.
Got a good one going here this afternoon at the Athletics and Wellness Center. Quakers leading this one by 3. Here's Franklin, 14 feet away short, and it'll be Mount St. Joe with the basketball. Chance to tie with a 3 right here. Studer will give it off now to Bree Webb on the right wing. Now it'll be Bristol Webb. Back once again to Hartfield. She's going to drive, left hand layup, good. 7 in the quarter for Hartfield. And now the Quakers have seen their lead cut to 1 once again. 1:55 to go now here in the third. Here's Franklin. Left hand, counted. 4 now for Franklin. And for two teams that, especially Mount St. Joe, averaging just under 57 points per game, scoring has not been a problem, at least so far today. Nice cut to the baseline. Layup good by Bristol Webb. And they've run that play several times against the Quakers. Back to a 1-point ball game. Here is Spey. 3-pointer good from the right wing. Boy, I tell you what, big 3-pointer again for the Quakers. McFarland has a couple in the quarter. Spey just picked up her number 2. Here in the third, she has 21 points. Under a minute remaining. 12 on the shot clock. Here is Bree Webb missing the shot from 3. And it'll be Quaker basketball. McFarland almost threw that one away. Is able to run it down as Franklin. About a 20-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Shot clock now 12. Here's Flynn with the left hand. Count it. Flynn now with 6. Quakers lead it by 6. Lion basketball. That is Studer. 15 left in the third. Seen a run by both teams. Studer, her jumper's no good. Offensive rebound. And that was Walsh, and they get it for a travel. 10 turnovers now for Mount St. Joe. Flynn will sit down, and back in the ball game will be Wilkins. 4.9 to go here in this third quarter. Still plenty of time to get a good shot off right here. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that one just off the rim by Case and Spey. We head to the fourth. Quakers lead this one by 6. This is Quaker Basketball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
It's game time. The Sportsplex is now open. Get your teams together and come out for basketball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, golf, batting cages, wrestling, and much, much more. The Sportsplex also offers court rentals for your entire team to play a pickup game or to hold practices. Use our turf fields for multiple sports, including flag football, baseball fielding, and rugby. Sportsplex is open 7 days a week. Check out FamilyFitnessWorks.com for more information and current hours, or call 765-935-0111.
There's only one place to go on the World Wide Web to find the best automotive deals. Wetzelauto.com. One of the area's largest inventories all in one spot. Wetzelauto.com. Here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wetzelauto.com. New and used vehicles, service, parts, body shop, and rental. Plus, value your trade. It's easy to navigate. It's convenient. Wetzelauto.com. It's clickin' awesome.
Well, if we have 10 more minutes like what we just saw in that third quarter, this is going to be an interesting finish to this one. Quakers outscored 2018 in that third, so Mount St. Joe, despite having a good start to that third quarter, only picked up a 2-point advantage. But it'll be Mount St. Joe basketball, and they're going to attack right away. Bucket good by Bristol Webb. Webb now with 11. And Mount St. Joe, they could have easily folded after that tough second quarter. Entry pass to Looney. Basket good. Good hands by Looney. 6 points by Looney. But going back to that second quarter, mentioning Mount St. Joe, they let that excellent first quarter get out of hand. And there's a drive, and Bree Webb will be called for the offensive foul. That is going to be her second. 11th turnover now for Mount St. Joe. But again, that second quarter costing Mount St. Joe big when they outscored 23-8, but they come back and still play strong in that third. 61-55, Quakers with the lead. Looney sets the screen for McFarland. McFarland back to Looney. They'll find Barnes for 3, missed it. Rebound battled for, and coming out with it will be Hartfield for Mount St. Joe. She's played well today. Quakers go man-to-man. Barnes now shading Bristol Webb. Webb will give it back to Hartfield, almost losing the handle on that one. Now drives in the lane, throws up a shot, got it to go. Boy, I tell you what, that was a tough shot that time by Hartfield. It's down to 4. 14 points for Hartfield. Here's Looney, left hand short. And the rebound by Bristol Webb. So Mount St. Joe a chance to cut down to that 4-point deficit. Little 1-4 low right here. Bristol Webb and up and under, missed it. And Looney with a rebound. And then a foul from behind by Bristol Webb. That'll be her third. Boy, give credit. Dan Benjamin and his ball club, they've played well here today. Again, without Sierra Phillips, their leading scorer and rebounder, and they're just battling away. They do play hard. Sturwold is back in. She's out of North Bend, Ohio, a 5'3" freshman. And also back in Maria Sams out of Cincinnati, just a sophomore. So they will give Hartfield a chance to get a quick break, and also setting will be Bristol Webb, but they'll be back soon. They're going to give them a chance to rest and rest up for a stretch run, as it'll be Quaker basketball. That is Spey. Entry to Flynn. Quick turn with the right hand. Good. Boy, Flynn didn't waste any time. She took it right up. And the Quakers now lead at 63-57. Sturwold at the top of the key. Shot clock still at 15. Still plenty of time. Webb now will find Studer. Things kind of settling down a little bit all of a sudden. Here's a three on the way, no good by Walsh, and the Quakers come out with it. You would figure that Coach Benjamin can't wait very long to get Webb back in the ball game, and Hartfield as well, especially if the Quakers are able to build on their lead right here. Here's Franklin. Pull-up shot, got the roll. Franklin now with 6, and the Quaker lead at 8. And a timeout by Coach Benjamin in Mount St. Joe. Quakers on top. 7 minutes remaining here in the fourth.
Hangout Academy has everything you need to train year-round to become a better player. They offer everything from cage rentals to private lessons and specialized classes. They offer hitting, infield play, outfield play, catching, pitching, strength, and agility for baseball and softball players alike. Their goal is to leave players with a better understanding of the game and to learn why they do certain things, and as always, play the game the right way. For more information, go to their website, hittershangoutacademy.com. Are you looking for a quality used car you can trust to take you where you want to go? Stop at Tony's Car Sales at 250 National Road West. Tony's has a top-of-the-line selection of low-mileage, one-owner cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, all hand-picked by Mike and Adrian Parker. Tony's is family-owned with 3 generations and 60 years of experience. Check out their selection at Tony'sCarSales.com or at 250 National Road West. Tony's Car Sales, where honesty, quality, and price sell cars.
Quakers right now 7 minutes away from winning their second straight in the conference. And this one a long way from being over. 7 minutes to go for the Quakers and the Lions. It'll be Lions basketball. Back of the ball game, Bree Webb. You didn't think that he or she or Hartfield would stay out of the ball game very long. Drive down the lane, shot no good, as Bristol Webb can't get it to fall. And now the Quakers have it. Here is baseline shot by Flynn, good. Give the assist to Franklin. Quakers continue to play well after Mount St. Joe made a run. There's a jumper on the way by Walsh, and good. Quakers now lead it by 8 as we're down to 6 minutes and change here in the fourth quarter. Flynn, top of the key. Looney flashing through the lane, now receives. Looney draws the double team. Good ball movement for the Quakers. Clock is down to 9. Here's Looney. Baseline shot, good. Looney. Nice move on the baseline, and the Quakers lead it by 10. 8 points by Looney. Here's Bree Webb. Wide open from the wing. Three-pointer counted. There's Walsh. Mount St. Joe keeps coming back. Here's Franklin, almost a turnover. And now Earlham will reset things. 7-point lead. Spey looking for an opening. Now drives. A lot of contact inside. No whistle. 5th turnover for the Quakers. And then a foul the other way. They'll get Barnes. Boy, Flynn trying to draw contact in the lane. Quakers coming now with, looks like that's going to be Thibodeau. I think we've seen Thibodeau today. And also back in McFarland. Mount St. Joe off the inbound three-pointer, way off the mark, and a rebounding foul. Bristol Webb will pick up number 4. Thibodeau on the inbound for Earlham, and now with just over 5 minutes remaining, Quakers lead it by 7. Boy, the pace had picked up big in the third. Good start to the fourth quarter. Now Earlham trying to slow things down just a little bit right here, work the half court. Here's Flynn. Flynn with a right hand, no. Well, she's a left-handed shooter, and what a bad move. So now it'll be Mount St. Joe on the attack. Here's Bristol Webb. Top of the key now to Hartfield. Here is Webb. Bree Webb for 3. Missed it. Rebound tipped into the hands of McFarland. And here comes Franklin and the Quakers. Quakers have numbers, 4-on-2. Franklin driving, and a blocking foul will be called on Mount St. Joe, and that was a heck of a collision. Walsh will pick up her 4th team foul now on Mount St. Joe. Franklin coming out, and Scott back in for the Quakers. Off the inbound, no for Spey. And the Lions back down the floor once again. We're down to 4:11 to go. Boy, nice up and under, but the left-hand shot missed by Bristol Webb. The offensive rebound, Bree Webb, and she'll be fouled.
I don't know about that. I can't give you that.
Thibodeau picks up the foul. That's going to be her first. And here's Bree Webb. 15 points by Webb. Now make it 16, only averaging 7.4. Again, a little extra motivation coming back to play against her former teammates. Second free throw now by Bree Webb. And it's back to a 5-point lead. Lions will stay full court, though a very loose full court man-to-man. Here's Flynn out front. McFarland, three-pointer, counted. How about McFarland? 11 points for McFarland. That is her third 3, and the Quakers lead it by 8. On the spin is Walsh. Picks up her dribble, hands off now to Studer. Her shot's no good. Looney with a rebound. I think they got Looney on the push. Ouch. Apparently Looney got her hands down low. Looney will pick up her third. That's a game of angles. His angle apparently different than yours. Fresh 30 on the shot clock. Off the screen here is Hartfield, and she hits a 3 and a timeout on the floor. And Mount St. Joe not going away anytime soon. Quakers on top of this one, 72-67.
Banks that are big, and then there's West End Bank. A bank with big ideas to help people, business, and industry. If you're just starting out on your own and want a new car, West End can help. Maybe it's your first home and you need advice on financing. West End Bank has ideas to help you. West End Bank, helping build better lives and a better community. West End Bank is a community bank with big ideas and home to a distinctive style of banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Reynolds Plumbing, the area's leader in residential and commercial plumbing. Fast, friendly, 24-hour emergency service. You name it, they can fix it. Whether it's installation, remodeling, sump pumps, well pumps, water heaters, or sewer camera service, they now have service on heating and air conditioning. Give them a call at 966-0994 for free estimates. Reynolds Plumbing, 198 South 2nd Street in Richmond.
3:30 remaining for the Quakers. Mount St. Joe coming back with another big basketball. We've seen some players on both sides of the ledger today hitting some big shots in what has been one of the better games we have seen this entire year. Mount St. Joe, other than the hiccup they had in that second quarter, they have played well today. Scott back in for the Quakers as she tap dances down the sideline, and then an offensive foul on Scott on the drive, and she fouls out of this one. Quakers turn it over for only the 6th time. Scott will sit down. Franklin back in. Scott will finish with 6 points. Well, she's been a huge asset to this ball club as a senior this year. So now let's see what Mount St. Joe can do. I've been impressed with the way they played here today, again, without Phillips in their lineup. They passed the ball extremely well. It was just that second quarter when they turned the ball over several times. Other than that, they played well. There's a nice up and under once again by Walsh. Can't get it. Put back by Walsh is good. Stayed right with it. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-point ball game. Now, we mentioned moments ago that when you had 7 minutes on the clock, Quakers had the lead. This was long from being over. Here's Franklin. McFarland now to Spey. They're posting up Looney. Draws the triple team. Wide open. Flynn missed it badly. And then a jump ball is sneaking in there. Was Kaysen Spey and ties up Bristol Webb. Good job by Spey. It'll be Quaker basketball. 2:22 remaining in the fourth. McFarland back once again to Franklin. Boy, the hot hand right now probably would be McFarland. Here's Franklin on the right wing, looking inside to Looney. Looney lost it, and it goes out of bounds, and the Quakers turn it over. Looney was looking to pass it off on the wing, and it just came out of her hand. So now Mount St. Joe back with the basketball. 2:04 remaining. Quakers will be coming back with Wilkins. They're looking down underneath, but wide open is Bristol Webb. Missed it. Looney with a rebound, and Webb had a pretty good look that time. Here's Franklin. Franklin down the lane, off the glass. Good. Franklin with only her 8th point, but none bigger than that one right there. Quakers needed it. Mount St. Joe basketball, turning it over. So here's Wilkins. That's a huge turnover right there for Mount St. Joe at 1:32 to go. Back in the ball game will be Hartfield. Each team has had good balanced scoring here this afternoon. Lead pass will find McFarland. Red Devils, or should say the Quakers, leading this one by 5. Here's Franklin with a crossover to the left hand. We'll find McFarland for 3 in the corner. Good. Well, I told you she's got the hot hand right now. 2 big threes by McFarland. Quakers lead it by 8. Here's Walsh. Down the lane, missed it. Rebound McFarland. Lead pass to Spey. Wide open is Wilkins. Wilkins, boy, hit that one hard off the backboard. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay Earlham basketball. All Wilkins had to do was let the defender fly on by her and then lay it in. So now the Quakers, 22 on the shot clock. 45 seconds to go, and a whistle and a foul called on Mount St. Joe. So Kaysen Spey at the free throw line for 2 shots. That is the 5th team foul on Mount St. Joe in the quarter, as the free throw is good. 22 points now by Spey. Studer, by the way, picked up her 2nd. Quakers can go up by 10. Boy, Just moments ago, Mount St. Joe had climbed to within 1, and Earlham battled right back again. Now the Quakers lead it by 10, down to 42 seconds to go. Mount St. Joe can't waste a whole lot of time here running an offense. Here's Walsh. Now it'll be Hatfield for 3, missed it, and Wilkins needs to be careful. Hatfield came down, Hartfield came down, hurt her ankle. She may have stepped on the foot of Wilkins when she shot the shot. So down that's a tough loss right there as Hartfield, one of your better three-point shooters, will have to come out of the ball game right when they need threes the most. Sturwold will come back in. We gave you ambiance that time. So now the Quakers will have the basketball with 27.6 seconds remaining. Mount St. Joe fouling immediately. Studer picks up her third, and boy, you put Case and Spey at the line. She's only missed twice today. No more. So the Quakers on the verge now with only 25.4 seconds remaining of picking up their second straight conference win after losing their first 6. Richard coming into the ball game now for the Quakers. Second free throw by Spey. And she got them both. And there's another timeout on the floor, 81-69. Quakers lead this one, 25.4 remaining.
There's only one place to go on the World Wide Web to find the best automotive deals. Wetzelauto.com. One of the area's largest inventories all in one spot. Wetzelauto.com. Here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wetzelauto.com. New and used vehicles, service, parts, body shop, and rental. Plus, value your trade. It's easy to navigate. It's convenient. Wetzelauto.com. It's clickin' awesome.
Mount St. Joe got the timeout basically to get the basketball to the 28-foot line instead of having to go the full distance of the court. Here is Bree Webb. Webb trying to find something inside. Her up and under's good. We don't see a lot of players do that very often. We've seen it quite a bit here today. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay Quaker basketball. 11.8 to go. They haven't even given those 2 points on the board yet for Mount St. Joe, so the Quakers will call a timeout. We'll keep it here for this timeout. Earlham winning today will have now improved their overall record to 4-11. Boy, they've had so many close games this year where they really should be better than the 4-11 record would indicate, but now 2-6 in conference play. Still have a ways to go to climb into that number 4 position. As you have Hanover, Mount St. Joe, Manchester, Anderson, and Defiance all in front of you. But now you have beaten Defiance, you've beaten Mount St. Joe. And there are 10 games remaining after today. Janelle Iden talking with the trailing official about something, and that'll be a quick foul there on Studer. Just picked up her 4th.
Foul number 13, Lady Studer, that is her 5th personal.
I'm going to take that back. The official score says that is going to be actually number 5 now on Studer.
Returning for the line. In for your Quakers, number 24, Ashley Meadows.
Bringing the ball game now for the Quakers will be Ashley Meadows. Ashton Meadows coming in as well. Quakers will finish this one off here, and we'll get ready for the men's contest. Free throws missed. You know, Spey has missed 3 today, and that's pretty unusual. Though most of us would say she shot it well, and she has, but Case and Spey and Anna Franklin, 2 of the leading free throw shooters in the country. Barnes will check back in for the Quakers. 10.9 remaining. And Earlham can wrap up another win here today as that one goes out of bounds. That's the 13th turnover now in Mount St. Joe, and there's no reason to foul right here. Just let the Quakers inbound and finish this one off, and Earlham will win it here today as they withstand a good run by Mount St. Joe. And your final score, Earlham 82, Mount St. Joe 71. We'll come back and wrap it up in a moment. This is Quaker basketball on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For over a century, Richmond Power and Light has been providing safe, reliable energy to the citizens and businesses of Richmond and the surrounding area. Through their dedicated and talented employees, Richmond Power and Light is advancing their tradition of exceptional service through new technology, training, and efficiency in everything they do. For more information on Richmond Power and Light, go to their website at rp-l.com. Richmond Power and Light. Together, we make powerful partners.
Maybe you haven't heard, but there's a place in Richmond's Depot District that's better than being home. Little Sheba's is a lot like the bar in that 80s TV show Cheers. You know, where everybody knows your name. Come on down after the game on Fridays and join us for pizza. We're here till 11. Or grab some of your friends and try out a game of live trivia Thursday nights at 6:30. If you love live music, Little Sheba's features some of the very best every weekend. Where else are you going to find this kind of variety, along with some of the best food and friends in town? Little Sheba's in Richmond's Depot District. It really is better than being home.
Now back one final time for the women's contest as Earlham picks up the win here this afternoon, 82-71. Final numbers in the scoring department for Mount St. Joe. They were led by Bree Webb with 19. Hartfield finished with 17. Walsh with 15. 11 points by Bristol Webb. 5 by Studer, 2 by Sams, and 2 by Sturwold. For the Quakers, they were led by Case and Spey with 26. McFarland today was 17, her second straight double-digit ball game. 10 points by Flynn, 8 points by Franklin, 8 by Looney, 6 by Wilkins, and also 6 by Kiara Scott. Quakers with the win again are now 2-6 in the conference, 4-11 overall. For Mount St. Joe, they're now 3-5 in conference play and 4-11 overall. Quakers will be back in action as they will play Wednesday against Rose-Hulman. It's a 7:30 tip-off time. We'll have it for you right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. Final score, once again, Quakers beat Mount St. Joe 82-71. Men's contest coming up in about 20 minutes. Thanks for being with us. This has been Earlham Women's Basketball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.